Well, then if there's no questions, let me go ahead and start the timer. Welcome you guys to the lobby. So, welcome everybody to the Golden Under lobby. This is going to be kind of going over the basics of Overwatch and stuff like that. I'll break down kind of what your time is going to be, or how your time is really going to be used. So we got an hour and a half. The first couple minutes is going to be just kind of explaining how the lobby is going to work, room etiquette, stuff like that. Then after that, we're going to go into our first phase. Our first phase is going to be a diagnostic phase, usually 1 to 2 matches, where I'll be looking at a couple core things in Overwatch to kind of see how well you guys are doing and what we need to work on and stuff like that. During this diagnostic phase, I will not be talking. I will be letting you guys do everything. I'll just be playing, listening, and stuff like that. Also during this, how I want you guys to be playing, I want you guys to be playing at 110%. I want you guys try-harding. I want you guys treating it as a scrim, a tournament, pickup game, a competitive match, whatever the highest form of Overwatch you have played, that's what I want to see tonight. So just kind of keep that in mind. Next thing is, after this diagnostic phase is over, is going to be the analyze phase, or whatever you want to call it, where I'll go over each of these 4 things that I'm going to be looking at. Now, speaking of these 4 things, the 4 things I'm really going to be looking at is going to be team composition, positioning, ultimate usage, and communication. And I'll go over each of those 4 things of what I seen was good, what I seen was bad, and go from there. And then I'll say, okay, this is what we need to work on. After that is done, I will go and we're going to go into the coaching phase. During this phase, I do not care if we win. I do not care if we lose. I want you guys... The only thing I want you try-harding on is the thing that I'm wanting to work on. So, for instance, say if we're working on team comps. I don't care when you use your ultimates or what the communication is like or anything like that. The only thing I'm worried about is worrying about how team comps work and switching and stuff like that. Or if we're working on communication, I don't care what our team comp is. I don't care what our blah, blah, blah. All we're working on is how to communicate. So just kind of keep that mind, or keep that in your mind when switching phases and stuff like that. So with all that being said, that's kind of what your hour and a half is going to be like. Well, hour and 27 minutes and 34 seconds is going to be. So do you guys have any questions or anything like that before we get started? If you do, feel free to ask. I'll answer like 1 or 2 since we're a little ahead of schedule.
If we're all within, I didn't check the SRs, but if we're all within the same SR, can we play comp?
No, that would be impossible with me.
Yeah, well,
So, any other questions? And for future reference, for anybody watching now, here, later, whatever, these lobbies will, like, I can never see a possibility of me doing this in competitive just because of the aspect of people are connected to their SR and they're like, oh, I gotta win, blah, 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 and stuff like that. That is a different type of content that I do for called like What's Wrong. That's usually later in the night. So, all right. Any other questions? I got time for one last question.
What did you focus on when you're going from diamond to master?
A lot of the stuff that I focus on, me personally, since I'm a support player. I don't play any of the other roles except to when I was trying to do other content, which I have another account for now. I focus a lot on not saving ultimates for specific abilities, or for specific ultimates. A lot of stuff that I've seen is like using ultimates to keep fights going in your favor, not necessarily to hold it for their combination of ult or whatever. So like, even though they may have a nano blade or blade this fight or grav dragon or something, if we can win the fight by me using trance and pressuring out their tanks or supports or whatever, that means we got 6 seconds of a really hard push and we can focus down a target. And if we get 2 or 3 kills during that, that means even if they do grav dragon us, they only have 3 people alive. So it's not even enough damage to be effective if we have the other support alive and stuff like that. So that's the stuff that I've seen a lot. And also problem solving. Problem solving is a big deal when it comes to that rank as well. So, all right, that's going to be it for the questions. If you guys got any other questions, you can go ahead and type them out in the group chat later on during the analysis phase. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, treat this as a scrim, treat this as a tournament, the highest form of Overwatch you have played. So I want to see you guys playing at your peak. So just kind of keep that in mind. Well, yeah, it's not ranked or anything. It's quick play, so there should be no reason we lose. It should not even be a close game. We should be like shitting on these enemy team because it's a quick play match, right? So ideally, you guys should be running through people. But
okay, what's the tank for then? Try hard enough.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm not telling. One, I don't even know the map. So, all right. Is there anything specific you guys are wanting me to do here or play? If not, I'll just kind of pick around.
You want to try Pharah? We might need more heals.
You can go on instead of Zen. Or back if it's starting.
What are you guys wanting? I'm sorry.
Pharmacy.
We might be good if they have Pharah.
Okay. Okay.
Does that have mics?
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go mute my mic. If you guys happen to be on stream, please mute the stream or leave the stream, so nobody cheats or anything like that. But other than that, good luck. Okay. So team comp so far, not terrible.
I think we all have mics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what's it?
Are we going left?
There's a ball, right? There's a ball right there. Yeah, they watch it. I see you still walking away.
Wait, oh. There's a Genji on your side.
Did you right side? Sync discorded? Sync discorded again?
So we're not really focused on any targets or anything like that yet. To the moon! I'm flying! So we got the point first, which is fine. We just really kind of split up. It's just kind of a lot of clutter. We have multiple people relaying information. Nobody's really calling targets. We already got the point, so we should be like hard pushing this and just slowly walking forward. So calling Discord out and stuff like that, that's good. So I'm really curious to see how we use these two ultimates. Since we got our DPS ults first, let's see where we hold. It looks like we're all holding on the point, which doesn't make any sense why we hold the point. We're giving up a lot of space and allowing them to poke us down when we're running a Reinhardt. Hey, fans. So we shouldn't need anything else. We already had 2 kills. So now we just kind of wasted the tire. Tire came out a little late there. Okay, so they're still fighting, and we use Shatter while they're still dead. They're not even out of spawn. No real reason to use that. Is kind of a little bit of a waste there. Because they're still backing up, and like look where we're holding.
I'm so conscious while I'm playing because I know I'm about to be coached.
So I'm just kind of curious on like where we're gonna be. Okay. They used 2 ult, or we use an ult, they use an ult, they use an ult, we use another ult. We're at 89% or 99%, so it's not like we necessarily need to
Listen to Monkey.
do other things. So they swapped to Monkey. I don't know why, so I am kind of curious on why we swapped to Monkey.
I was resetting.
That's the best option then. So they're gonna have multiple ults this fight. Well, maybe they won't. They probably just have Nano Blade. So we're gonna lose this next fight, most likely. The Monkey goes and dies, but like, there's nothing to dive with the Monkey. Like, I don't know why we swapped to the Monkey, and now we have no real team comp with it. Why do we swap to 2 main tanks? No real reason to swap to 2 main tanks. You could argue that the Genji may have been a problem, but I mean, if that's the reason, then I mean, somebody should have said something about it.
Sorry for sorry.
So our ultimates are kind of bad. Team composition, kind of iffy. Communication's okay. Communications are our best thing. Positioning's bad. Ultimate usage is kind of bad, and team composition is bad. Well, their swaps are bad. I don't think they understand team comp or why to swap or anything like that. That's something that I don't.
What TBS do they have? They have Genji and Doom. They have decent,
Genji and Ash, I'm pretty sure.
oh, they get Ash. Well, they do it and they have Ash.
I can dive the Ash if they
Okay, so now we're running a BAP and a Zen, and we're running a ball. Don't really understand why we run the ball here as well. So.
Oh, Reaper that Reaper. Mid right here.
Reaper this little.
Nice.
Water story. Water story still.
Take a hit.
Main right side, this one is
Good half, yeah.
May one. May no ice lock.
Or Zen should be capping the Zen, or well, BAP or Zen, either one should be capping the points. But they do. And what? I bet our tanks don't take space again. Doesn't. We don't push in. We're just constantly backing up, even though we have abilities and we have everything else online. Like, our Ryan literally pulls back and then charges forward almost every single time.
Oh wait, we can hold up this choke right here.
We can just open fire.
Can we hold up with the choke at the sword?
Hold choke for not all the way.
No reason why we shouldn't. We're giving them so much space. Let's see when we use this.
That's my bad, Zed, sorry.
Now we tire and do that, and tire gets no tire. Both of them get no value. So we just use 2 ultimates to still lose the fight. There we go.
Right now.
That's pretty awful. Like, why? Our positioning is really bad. Team composition, maybe. Ultimate usage. Ultimate usage is really bad too. Like, this is the first time I've had three things kind of evenly bad. The communication is really good.
Ripper's gonna ult.
Yep.
It ain't my time.
We should win this.
Take half.
Six.
So their communication's really good. Everything else is just really bad. As pretty bad overall.
Nice.
Victory.
And we almost lost it multiple times, so I'm very kind of unimpressed a little bit. I mean, not necessarily that way. But you guys know. Alright, Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about what was good and what was bad, because there was a lot of bad. Alright, so let's talk about what was good first. You guys' communication was solid. Pretty consistent. There wasn't a lot of target calling. There was a lot of relaying information about like who's discorded, where their position and stuff was, and stuff like that. So that relay of information is really good. There very rarely were we calling targets, but when we did, we was calling pretty good targets and stuff like that. So that was really good. Overall, you guys' communication, I don't think you guys really need to work on communicating with each other when it comes to like fighting and relaying information and stuff like that. Basic communication, I think you guys got all right. Now let's go ahead and get into the bad stuff, because all three of these are kind of evenly shitty, consistently. Okay, and I'll start with, like, I guess kind of the least shittiest one, but I do want to ask a couple questions real quick. Okay, so our main tank was Yeti on Rhine.
Yeah.
Let me ask Lightbound. So you started on the Hog first round, right? And then you swapped to Winston when we was at 99 and they was at, I think, 44 or something like that. Why did you swap to the Winston?
I saw they had the Genji and I was trying to dive the Ashe. I wanted to deal with it.
See, this is always the thing. Even though they're not getting value, they always end up swapping just to try to hard counter. Okay. So why would you not go Diva? Let me ask you a better question, and this will answer my question on why you didn't. Name me all of the main tanks in the game. I only want Light Bounty to answer this.
Reinhardt, Orisa, and I think is Sigma main tank?
No.
Yeah, I think it's just those two then. That's my knowledge of it.
Okay, so that explains completely why you did not go Diva, because you don't know the main tanks. Okay, so Ryan, Orisa, Winston, and Wrecking Ball, all of them are main tanks. Everything else is off tank. All of them do the same thing. They all create space, they take space, defend space, open up space for your DPS to do stuff. Which makes sense why you pick Winston, because you think Winston is an off tank. Probably because he doesn't have a big ass shield in front of him that you walk forward with and shoot. Which is not uncommon. It is very common for every low rank to think that.
Tank? What defines a main tank?
I literally just said that. They all create, defend, take space, yes. And an off tank or a flex tank helps defend that space and is usually the one that peels. And you can look at all of the tanks role, like look at all their kits, they all help defend with what your main tank is doing, and they all can help heal for your backline, right? So Diva, she can help go in if Winston jumps in or Wrecking Ball's in or help defend Reinhardt, but she can also peel for your backline if something happens, right? You don't want your Orisa peeling for your backline. You don't want your Reinhardt peeling for your backline. You want your Diva because she has a defense matrix. She's super mobile. She has and she has defensive abilities like the defense matrix and stuff like that. Roadhog, same way. He can body block. He also has the hook, so hopefully you land the hook. Yes, he's not going to help as much for peeling for the backline, but he's really going to help put pressure on the front line with the other main tank. So if you are running a Rhine Hog or Orisa Hog, Orisa pulls in, Hog hooks. That is helping the main tank with what they're doing. Same thing with Sigma. Sigma can wall off an enemy or, well, shield off an enemy. So if somebody's dealing with stuff in the backline or the Widow's shooting an angle, whatever, he blocks that whole space from her to be effective, right? also helps deal with whatever the main tank is doing as well. Zarya, same thing. She got the bubble to help shield people, and can help bubble the main tank and whatever they're trying to do. So ideally, that's kind of what they're doing. They're just helping what's going on. Your main tank is going to kind of define and also kind of define what play style you're usually going for. Normally, your Orisa is going to be more spammy, so you're just going to be sitting there shooting most of the time. Winston and Wrecking Ball, they kind of play the same, but Winston's going to be when he's diving in and sectioning off people and putting the shield down to kind of stop the healing output from going in or zoning people out. Wrecking Ball is going to be kind of doing the same thing, but he's more disrupting and making people put resources into him. So if people are putting resources into Wrecking Ball, they're not putting resources into the other 5 people on your team, which now opens up your DPS and other tank and stuff to make plays. That is how Wrecking Ball works and stuff like that. Reinhardt does the same thing, puts his shield forward, he walks forward, going to take space, he's going to be brawling because it's close range, stuff like that. So that's kind of how these main tanks define what you're going to be playing. Usually, and the same thing works with the main supports. And for the support line, I don't know if you guys know what main supports are, but I'll let you guys know. You know what? I'll ask for the supports because I'm curious if our supports know. Supports. Well, Yeti, you're playing tank, so you don't get to answer. But I'll let them answer first, and then if they don't get it right, I'll open it up. So RD3 and Emmy, what are our main supports? Just list them out in the group chat. Just type them out in the group chat. Just them two. Then everybody else can get your answers ready, but don't hit anything yet. I want them to answer first, please. Hello? Okay, there we go. Okay, so Anna Batmore. Okay, both y'all said the same thing. Both of you guys are wrong. Yeti, go ahead if you want to go, or if anybody else wants to give a shot at it. More Lucio. Okay, close. I guess kind of close. Kind of close. Okay, so nobody got more than. Yeah, so nobody got any of them right. There's a couple that got like, I guess, Granita. How do you pronounce her name again? Granita.
Garatina.
Garatina. Okay, I'll try to remember that. You got 2 out of 4, which okay, but nobody else named 4 other than no. Yeah, he's the only person that named 4. So your main supports are Lucio, Mercy, Brig. Your flex supports are everything else. Your main supports are going to be the same thing as how your tanks are going to be playing, or how your tanks are. They define how the team comp is going to play. If you're playing, I don't know if they DC'd. If they define how you're going to be playing. So if you're running a Lucio, what's Lucio going to be used for? Used for speed, right? If you're running the Mercy, you're usually playing slow, damage boost, res, stuff like that. You're playing a little slow, spread out, so your Mercy has someone to fly to, right? If you're playing a Brig, you're going to be brawling. That is the main, like, you're not getting any value with Brig unless you're brawling. So that defines kind of how your team comp needs to play, for the most part, and what utilities and stuff like that you may bring to the table by picking one of them. And then your flex supports literally just flex between what needs to happen for either counters or anything or other healing utility and stuff like that. So that's kind of where these come from there. No, I think he DC'd. We'll invite him back. Yeah, he DC'd. So I'll give him a second and then I'll invite him back. Those are main supports for learning purposes. So now you guys. Next thing is let's talk about. Like I said, you guys team comp don't really understand why y'all went the Winston there, but now I kind of understand why you did that. The team comp wasn't terrible, but I was really curious about the Winston pick, and then running a Bap and a Zen with a Reinhardt. Don't really understand that one so much. I mean, it can work. It's not terrible, but I mean, running a Lucio as a main support would have been a lot better for literally everybody on the team. Just
I
because,
thought.
yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man.
No, go
I
ahead.
thought Lucio was like dog shit right now. That's what I've been hearing. Like,
Okay, so the only way that something would ever be bad is if you are in high masters and above. Nothing matters in low ranks. Even in the rank I'm at, I've only had to play the meta like one time around the rank I'm at. That's a one time out of all the games that I have played in my SR. Not this season, but even last season and stuff. Only seen the meta one time, and even then,
So
it's
the
very
meta only works if you play the heroes right, and you're not playing the heroes right.
yeah. I guarantee you,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, it doesn't matter what the meta is for lower ranks. But either way, if you're running Orion, you're not running like if that's the case. To put up that argument there, we shouldn't be running a Reinhardt. We'd be running a double shield, and even then, double shield and Lucio is still picked. So it's a whole thing when it comes to the meta there. All right, I'm going to invite him back one more time in a second. So next, well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and open this up. They're not back on, so that's what I said. Team comp was probably the least amount of shitty things, but that was one of the things that I did see that was kind of a big issue there. Next thing is going to be, I guess you guys, let's talk about y'all's ultimates first. Y'all's ultimates was ass. Almost every single time y'all's ultimates were ass. We used Tire super late into a fight. I don't know if everybody uses Tire, like, I don't know if everybody here's mindset is like, try to use an ultimate after they use an ultimate. When you're on defense, you don't ever want to do that. Hey, Black Bear, are you from stream?
No.
Okay, your name looked familiar. But welcome to the lobby.
What's your stream?
It's my name _OW. So you're fine to play. We're just going to. I'm just giving an analysis of what our diagnostic phase was, where they was tryharding and playing their best. And I'm going over what they did wrong, what they did good. We determined so far that the communication was really good. They don't need to work in communication. Team composition was okay, but it wasn't really okay, just due to the fact they didn't know what main tanks and main supports were. So we covered that as well. And now we're going over the last two things, which is positioning and ultimate usage, which were both bad, and one of those will be a thing that we're going to work on today. So you just kind of listen, and if you have any questions over anything I may have not have gone over as much detail, please go ahead and let me know. So anyways, like I said, question? Yes, go ahead.
First, so you said that, like, you're so how important is like main tanks versus, like, picking 2 off tanks versus picking 2 main tanks, or, like, 2 main tanks or 2 off supports?
You said how important is it?
Kind of, but I'm kind of getting at the same concept, like, that doesn't matter unless you're good at the player, good at the characters.
Yeah.
If the person who's, like, the most aren't necessarily stupid. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you're saying, like, does having a main tank and an off tank affect lower rank?
Yes.
No. It never matters. It doesn't matter what you play in low ranks. In competitive, it doesn't make a difference. Because it, like I said, meta doesn't really affect anything. Now, if you're good at the hero, yeah, okay, cool, run it. If you're not good at the hero, then it's probably not the best idea to run whatever you want to run. But ideally, when playing in scrims and tournaments and stuff like that, you want to be running stuff that's going to be kind of standard and start out on something good, and then if it's not working, then you can swap to a more comfort pick or something like that that might work. But you want to start out with the best. I like when doing these diagnostics things, I want to see your decision making and making sure your decisions are good first, and then going from there. So if we start out and you're running, like, for instance, like Junk. Let's say if they was running a Pharah, right, and I'm running a Genji and a Junkrat, let's say you're running a McCree, and then they swap to Pharah, and we don't have a hit scan, and then you say, and we still have the hit scan as a McCree, but you're like, I'm not comfortable on McCree, I'm not good on McCree, but I'm really good at Junkrat. that's a decision making that's bad. Because even though you may be really good at Junkrat, it doesn't make a difference how good you are on a hero if you're just going to get countered by the FAR that's doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thought process when it comes to picking team comps and stuff like that, especially in this lobby. Start out on something that should work. You know that these team comps have good synergy, works good on the map, stuff like that. And then once you play the first match or first fight or something, you're like, oh shit, they got this stuff or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, now it's not working. I need to do something different.
I don't know what should work if meta doesn't apply.
Because you don't have you base it off of what the map is and what the other team is going, or what the rest of your team is wanting to play. So as long as your team comp has synergy, which is what our team comp really didn't have, and like I said with the monkey pick, monkey didn't work with any of our team comp. Like nothing was going to dive with him. Nothing was going to be there to do damage. Nothing was there. So it was to hard counter a Genji, but it doesn't work anywhere because he's a main tank, and nothing's there to be able to heal him. So that's where one of the flaws was there. Yo, Light Bowdy, shut up. Sorry I left, kicked my computer, shut off, might join some other time, thanks for the device. Okay, yeah, I waited for you for like a minute or two, and it kept saying, so I figured you DC. So I was like waiting, and then I need to keep the lobby going, so yeah, if you ever get DC'd or something like that, and you're in stream, please mention me or let me know in stream so I can keep the spot open. But yeah, if you want to come in another time, you can. I just don't want to take the other person that already joined out. So yeah, pick what's good synergy and stuff like that. All right. So anyways, with you guys' ultimates, we just used ultimates multiple times, and even in the play of the game, we used Tire. And the thing was, we opened with Tire, which was good. That Tire on control center, that was a good time Tire. Excellent Tire, right? Open it up as soon as they get to the choke, start pushing in that way, fine, whatever. And then we use Shatter right after it, while they still have a immortality field. So we use those two ultimates, get no value at all from any of them, and then they come in with two ultimates of themselves, and they're able to push that objective. And then now we use Baptiste Salt. Luckily, I'm not an idiot, and I actually waited for an opportunity for my ultimate rather than just hitting it as soon as everything else went out. And it got a couple kills. So if I was around the same SR as you guys, I would have just I can almost guarantee you I would have hit Q as soon as everybody else hit Q, instead of waiting to see what value the Baptiste wall is going to get, which it might have got a little value or something to kind of guide them back a little bit, but I believe they also used Baptiste Salt as well during that, so we was pushing back too, so it's an alt for an alt, and so it's even at that thing. So just kind of keep that in mind when it comes to that. Like our ultimates were like almost every time we use like 3-4 ultimates, and we still lost a fight, or we're still just not doing anything, and we're using ult super late and stuff like that, and that was just a consistent thing that happened over and over again. Now, last thing, what I'll go into is our positioning. Okay, so one thing I want to ask, and this is for our main tank, Yeti. Yes. Why are we defending once we cap the objective? Why are we defending on the objective?
Now that you say it, it's I get what you're trying to say, but in the moment, I was thinking to the choke of the door that you touched to open, but now I say that there's a door, like there's multiple like entry points. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's stupid, but in the moment, it was more close quarters than out in the open, I guess.
More close quarter. What map are you talking about?
Dude, I don't know. This is.
Because I'm on both. I don't care what the reason is. I just need to know what. Like, I just need to know a reason, because our whole team is literally behind you. So wherever you're going, you're. Reason. Yeah. Okay. If you don't have one, I've asked this question all the time, and people don't know, and they're just like, I just hold here because it's the objective.
You're making me realize now that I have to think about why I wanted to play on point. We really shouldn't have.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's true. So, and this is a question that everybody here and everybody in stream, everybody that watches this later on, you always need to ask yourself why you are doing this. You need to know why you're taking this position. Why are you shooting at this target? Why are you using this ability on this person at this time? Why are you doing all of these things? If you have no reason to the answer why, if you don't have an answer to that, then you shouldn't be doing it. If you have an answer and you know it's a bad answer, then obviously you shouldn't be doing it. So every time you try to do something in Overwatch, no matter what it is, you should always be asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I taking this positioning, shooting from this angle, or shooting at this target, or shooting this way, or anything? Okay? Every time you're doing that. And that will help a lot when it comes to a lot of your decision making, because literally as I'm asking you why, you're like, oh, this is stupid because they're able to take all this space, and now they just cap on the point as soon as we lose. So, to everybody else who doesn't understand why you don't hold the objective when you're on defense, no matter if it's a payload map, no matter if it's on 2CP, no matter if it's on whatever, very rarely you're going to hold the objective. A couple maps you may want to hold the objective if you're playing a specific team comp. Like, say you're running, this is a comp that happens every now and then, like an Orisa, Reinhardt, Mei, like a Reaper, and like a BAP and a I think it's a BAP and a Brig, and it's a village map on Nepal, and you're holding in that, and you're holding the point. That's valid. You can hold there because your specific team comp is playing for that objective and walling people off if they try to come in one of the sides. You have two shields going from one area, you hold in a corner, and you just free fire wherever they're coming from. You have a play style of what you're wanting to do. Yes, it's a weird team comp. Yes, you shouldn't hold on the objective, but you have a play style and a play of what you're wanting to do for that. So if you have a play style and you have some reason behind it, then fine, give the reason, but also you need to let your team know what the fuck you're doing so that we know. Especially as a main tank, it is your job to kind of guide your team on where they need to go and take space, like we said in the beginning, take space for your DPS to get value. If you're holding on the objective, as a DPS player, I can't do shit other than shoot straight. I have no soft links I can go, I have no value I can get from, because as soon as they start taking that right side or the left side of the point, now we're getting shot from 2-3 different angles, I can't do anything about that. So now we're getting pressured on the objective, and that's one reason. Next reason is because if we're defending on the point and they start fighting us, what are they doing while they're fighting us? If we lose that fight, immediately as soon as the fight is over, they're capping the objective, right? So you don't even get a chance to fall back anywhere because they're already capping the objective. If you fall back, you're falling back off of the point, which is even worse, because if you die off the point, now you've staggered yourself, and they've already been getting a percentage toward that. Okay, so every time when you're defending, you always want to defend off of the objective, in front of the objective to the next choke, whether it's a payload map, whether it's a 2CP map, or whatever. Unless you have a specific playstyle, like I was saying before. So keep that in mind when it comes to where you're defending from and stuff like that, so you have a place to fall back to. And even if you lose in that choke, they still have to fight you to get to that choke. Use abilities, use ultimates, use all that stuff before they even get to the choke. And then if you still lose that and you die, you're still capping the objective. You're still getting progress toward the cart. You're still doing all of this stuff, and they haven't even stopped it. So these are things that you got to think of when it comes to defending and stuff like that and taking space. All right, last but not least, that was the position. So we're all good on that because we already talked about ultimate. So, we can do three things. Because all three things are kind of equally shitty because you guys didn't know about main supports, main tanks, main flex, or anything like that. So, this is very rare. I've only seen maybe 2 lobbies that had to work on 3 things at once. Or 3 things in general that were all kind of even. Like I said, all 3 of these things can definitely work when it comes to like helping you guys understand how the game works and understand all this stuff. So, what I need you guys to do in the group chat is type it. Oh, actually, hold on. Before we do that, does anybody have any questions? On what conditions do we play Zen? I mean, if you're good with them, you can play Zen, or if they have like non-flanking heroes, then you could play Zen as well. If they have snipers, you can kind of play Zen if you can play your angles correctly and stuff like that. if they have a lot of shield and you need to do shield breaks and stuff, then you can. Yeah, Zen, meta doesn't matter in gold. Meta's not going to affect you until you're high SR. And not even where I'm at in SR. It doesn't even affect up there. So if these conditions apply, and if you're, like I said, if you're good on the hero, then go ahead, play them. But it really depends on a lot of stuff. If they're running flankers, you can still play. And this is something I do want to mention to everybody, is if they are running a counter to you, that does not mean you need to switch. It only means you need to switch if you're not getting value on your hero and you're not being effective on your hero. Now, keep in mind, being effective does not mean goldy limbs, gold damage, gold whatever. It doesn't matter. If you're still losing, you're still losing. So, and you may or may not be the problem. I'm not there to say that, but it doesn't matter if you're running a Pharah and they have 2 hit scans and we're still winning with the Pharah, you don't need a swap. If the Pharah is still cleaning up because the hit scans can't hit shit on the enemy team, it doesn't matter. So keep that in mind. It plays in if you can do 10k damage per 10. I don't even know if I do that. Let me check my sets. I don't even know if I do that as damage on Zen. Average per 10, hero damage done 5,000. All damage done, average per 10, 8,000. Stats don't matter. I'm telling you that right now.
Clearly, yours bad.
Yeah, clearly I shouldn't play Zen.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people all the time, stats don't matter. Stats literally mean nothing. The only stats that you should probably worry about is your deaths. That's the one thing that I'll say is like something overall like deaths. Okay, so I'll answer one last question, and hopefully that answered a little bit on your thing with Zen and stuff like that. But yeah. One last question, if anybody has.
Sorry. Yeah, what playstyle directly counters brawl? Like brawl.
What counters brawl?
Yeah.
Spam. Rissa. Oh.
And then how? So instead of the answer to like if they're countering your playstyle, would you switch playstyles?
Are you losing?
You're even.
No. I mean, if you're not getting if you're losing, then yes, swap if you need to. But the thing is, if they're running, say for instance, if they're running spam, right? But they're not playing ranged against you, and you're able to get close and you can brawl, then you're going to win. Because they can't, the whole point of running spam is literally to melt you down and get you to use abilities before you get close. If that Reinhardt can get close to you, and now he's brawling, then it doesn't make a difference how much.
Game over.
Yeah, it's kind of it. But if they melt you down before you get there, and then you start brawling, and you don't have your abilities, you don't have the resources to put into that fight once you're there, then yeah, they're going to win that. So it really comes down to if you're getting value on that team comp or not. Yes, they can be running counters. I was playing in a low silver game the other day, and they was running a Winston against Reaper. They was like, oh, we need to swap off a Winston because the Reaper directly counters the Winston. Yeah, but the Reaper's literally dying every fight and not getting any value. Why the fuck would you tell our Winston to swap off just because they're running a counter? Our Winston is literally doing really good and playing a well solid, but you're going to tell them to switch off because they picked a hero. Oh, Jesus. Like, I'm so happy this bronze Widowmaker is now here. I can't play this hero now. Oh, God. Like, it doesn't matter. Are you doing good? Yes. Then you don't need to swap. So.
Good point, actually.
Alright, so I'll let you guys type in the group chat on what we need to work on. So if you want to work on team comp, type in COM. Type in team and then COM for team comp. If you want to work on positioning, type in POS. If you're wanting to work on ultimates, type in ULT. So out of those 3, we're going to pick whoever votes the most. So, or well, whatever the people want to vote for. Everybody's eligible, so Black Bear, whatever you want to work on as well, you can. You have to vote because there's 5 people here. So okay, looks like we're working on positioning. Okay, so we're going to work on positioning. So how this is going to work, we're going to play a specific team comp, and I'll kind of guide you guys on pathing and engages. Because a little bit on you guys' engages were kind of bad too when it came to following kills and focusing down people. So, our team comp is going to be, and we run this, if anybody's ever been here in these lobbies before, we run the same team comp when it comes to positioning. We're running Brig, Lucio, Ryan, Zarya, McCree, and May. This is a team comp we're going to be playing on every single map, every single point, every single until the 45 minutes left is up. So keep that in mind. Now, does anybody have any questions about anything before we get started on how I explain how this comp works?
Will the same person, like, if I play, am I playing Ryan the entire time, or are we switching Ryan?
Oh, y'all can swap whatever. Y'all can swap whatever if you want. So if somebody wants to play Ryan this time, go ahead play Ryan this time. Someone wants to play Ryan the next time, let them swap off. So everybody gets a chance to kind of see where positions and stuff like that goes. So good question there. Any other questions? No? Okay, so how this is going to work. Obviously, we're running a Brig Lucio, which can be low heals if we're not getting value from the Brig. So how do you get value from Brig? You have to brawl, which is what the speed boost is going to be for. So we can speed into them and start the brawl as fast as possible, make it a little easier for everybody. So one thing with this as well, we don't have a lot of shit to poke with. We're running a Ryan, Zarya, Brig, Lucio. And then the only thing that can really poke is kind of a Lucio, McCree, and May. That's it. There's half the team that can actually do damage from afar. The other half ain't really doing shit. So every time we're at an area where I say, oh, we're going to hold here, whenever we're resetting or we're pulling back, we always pull back to the same area, or I'll tell you where we need to pull back or something like that. That's where we're going to hold. Whenever we're waiting for something to happen, we literally wait for something to happen. We don't try to poke. We don't try to do something. We don't try to use cooldowns. We're literally waiting until I say, all right, we need to engage. When we engage, every cooldown comes online and we push, okay? The big key things here when it comes to engaging, and this is a resource management, is one going to be our amp from Lucio and our Zarya bubbles. Zarya bubbles not as much just because they're on a faster cooldown, but Lucio's cooldown's like 15 seconds as soon as he amps. So that's something that you want to kind of keep an eye out for. I'll tell you when to engage. Ideally, whoever our Lucio player is, whenever we're moving, if we're going from one area to another, you need to have it on speed. Whenever we stop moving, you need to have it on heals. So whenever we start fighting, have it on heals. Whenever we need to get out or reset or push in, you need to have it on speed. Now, when we need to amp, that is when I'm going to call the engage, or if I say we need to amp out or we need to keep amping or whatever, you need to amp speed. If we need heals or something like that, we're not taking any damage, there's no need to amp heals. You're not going to save anybody's life with amping heals. You're going to save a lot more people's life if you can amp speed and get everybody the fuck out of here so we don't take any damage. So keep that in mind. Toward the end of your amp speed, you can put it back on heals, and that should build up your ult charge and stuff like that as well, once we get to our final location. On defense, it's a lot easier to do this. On attack, we have to take space, and I'll show you the pathing and stuff like that of our Reinhardt. For our tank players, keep in mind where I'm telling us to hold and where I'm telling us to path, because later on, you guys will be pathing for us. And supports, keep in mind when I'm calling in engage, and understand when I'm doing these types of things. If you have questions on why I'm saying any of these things during the fight, wait till the match is over, and then bring it up and say, why did you call an engage here? Why did you tell us to hold here? Why did you do this or whatever? Let me know. I do make mistakes, not as often, but there will be mistakes. So if I don't know and I said, oh, this would have been a better idea, then I'll let you know that this would have also been a good idea as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. Any last questions or anything like that before we get started? No? Okay.
Black Bear, do you want to play Ryan or Zarya? I prefer to play Ryan.
Yeah, go for it.
But if you want to, we can swap together.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I don't care what you want to play. You can play whatever. Yeah, so now after the analysis is over, I guess I can go ahead and plug all my stuff. Like I said, if you want to add me on friends list, you can. I'll accept until it's full. If you want to follow me on Twitch and follow along when I do these lobbies every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Roughly either communication or it's Golden Under Lobby. Or I also do What's Wrong, which is different content I'll talk about later. Also, have YouTube channel and Twitter if you guys want to follow along there and watch previous things and see what other people had to work on. Mpulse is the YouTube. Mpulse_W is Twitch. So feel free to follow along there if you want as well. that's pretty much all my plugs. So where we're gonna hold? We're gonna hold in the train. So follow your May, please. Well, drop down. And, yeah. Follow where your May's at. Okay. Everybody follow where your May's at. Okay, and then you need to crouch. Everybody needs a crouch. Keep speed on.
What is
Are we
this?
we're holding the train, right?
Yeah, we're holding in the train. Follow your May.
This is my IQ
You
check.
literally, you just crouch and you don't make any sounds, and then you're gonna wait. When I call the engage, I will call the engage. So literally wait. Don't do anything. Don't shoot. Don't do anything.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Go now. Go now. We go into the cave if we start losing people. All right, pull back into the cave a little bit. Play slow. Pull back into the cave. Pull back into the cave. Okay, our Zarya doesn't know where the cave is at. You're dead. All right, we need a push. We need a push. 3, 2, 1, go, 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 push. All right, let's pull back now. Pull back, pull back, pull back. We need to play slow. Play on the cart. All right, let's start pushing. Push, 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 push. Die on the cart. Do not die. Do not let them get out for free. Die on the cart. Lucio, why are you following the ball around? You should be speeding the whole team around. You should be sticking on our Reinhardt's ass.
Not over yet.
Do not let them move the cart. You pull back into the cave. If you're going to die, you die on the cart or you go back into the cave. I'm not there to be able to know where you guys are at, but I see you guys pulling back. You die on the cart. Die on the cart. Die on the cart. There you go. Okay.
So are you calling when yell?
No.
This is just fishing.
Lucio.
We have 5. We could maybe try.
Oh yeah, we got time. Don't push it. Don't push it.
This fight is not over yet.
Okay.
Nice.
Are we ready? Okay, let's go lower. Go lower. Go, 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 go. Amp speed, amp speed. And go, 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 go. We need to hold the point. Ryan, try not to charge, like, ever.
Backwards.
No, anywhere. We can't keep up with you. Alright, let's hold the cave.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need a poke. We're literally waiting.
Okay. I keep getting there.
3, 2, oh, point. Let's get out. Die. We're gonna die on the point if we're gonna die here. We have ults, so we might be able to win this, but is our support alive? Yeah, support's alive. Just need to stay alive here. We should be able to win this with ults. Okay, well, we're not using any ults, so I guess we're not winning this. Let's back out.
There's only me and May there.
You should have used the ult.
It was just us two though. I beat it.
You should have used the ult.
That could have gone better.
Alright, pull back. We're not winning this. Pull back.
Background.
Play slow, play slow, play slow. Okay, we're amping in. We don't need to amp. We're not going anywhere.
Go for the drumstick.
Okay, now let's start pushing forward. I'm going to go through the little room here. Alright. Alright, do we have amp yet? Okay, die on the cart. Die on the cart. Go to cart. Just die on the cart. Stay alive as long as possible if you can. Just, yeah. Alright, now let's go ahead and reset. We'll wait. Okay, so don't amp out of spawn. That is something you definitely don't want to be doing. Alright, let's go engage. Let's go engage. Go, 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 go. Need to touch the point. Alright, this is one. Just fight on the point. There you go.
Reasonable.
And we can just kind of hold a little further up. Let's hold on the high ground where the bridge is at. We're just gonna kind of hold there.
Lucy on card.
Oh, alright, let's get this Lucy. Is he here? Alright. Alright. Where is it? Where is it? Alright, let's... Can we push? Can we push? Let's go. Let's go. Go, push, 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 push. Push into him. Push it. Point, 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 point. Pull back, speed is out. Ooh, unlucky. Alright, let's pull back. Alright, we can maybe win this. Yeah, we win this. Just play slow. Both your supports are down, so we need to reset and get out. Okay, so please stop amping and spawn. So do not amp, because your cooldown is way too long for anything. Alright, let's go. Yeah, let's go, 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 push, 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 push. Push her, push. Alright. Then we are going to lose this, so die on the point. Okay, now you can go ahead and amp out a spawn if you come, yeah. Oh, unlucky. Okay, so let's go over a couple things real quick, and then we can go over like why I was saying what I was saying. So let's start in order. First thing, we can hold in the train, and we can also hold in the cave. Either one will work. I just like to do the train, just because it's usually a little easier because you're on the high ground. But a lot of times people will usually check the train, so you may be rushed to do something a little sooner than you need to. And then the reason why you hold in the cave is because you can still kind of contest the point while still being in the cave. So you don't have to have everybody there. So when you're pretty much coming out of the train, you're trying to kill as many people as possible and rotate kind of to the cave during that rotation. And if you're getting kills and stuff, yeah, go ahead and stay out and whatever, but you don't need to kind of go too much further than that. Reason why, does anybody have any idea why I'm saying die on the cart every time?
So they don't they get the amount of as possible.
Yes, so anytime it's a losing fight, so whenever we're down 1 or 2 or something like that, die on the cart. The only person who probably should not try to die on the cart is going to be our Zarya, just so that she can get out with high charge, if possible. If you can't get out with high charge, then obviously try to do as much damage as you can, try to get from there. But that's kind of why I'm saying die on the payload, stuff like that, pretty much through the whole time there. Every fight that we're going to be taking is going to be usually around a corner and waiting for them to come to us. A lot of times we're not going to try to engage on fights where we don't really have an advantage, just because we're playing a brawl composition. So, example in that first thing, we let them move cart for a little bit so that we can get positioning there, and then we can push in that way. Oh, okay. Press on to leave.
Okay.
All right. So anyways, I forgot to ask if they're going to be able to stay for the 30 minutes, so I can't block them.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you give me 2 minutes to use the restroom?
Yeah, go ahead. We're still going to be looking for another person anyways. So anyways, that's the reason why I'm holding in those areas, because we're running a brawl composition, so you have to understand the composition that you're running and what's going to benefit you and what's not going to benefit you. And having long range fights and getting melted down where your Brig's not going to get any value from healing is not going to help anything. She's just going to be useless. So every fight that we're going to be taking, we're taking where we can brawl and where Brig can get value. So that is the goal, and that is what I'm trying to set every fight up for. So kind of keep that in mind when it comes to whatever comps you're playing. try to get as much value as you can from whatever heroes that are selected on your team. Next thing is going to be when we're engaging and disengaging. If we're getting kills, then I'm going to keep saying we need to engage. When I was saying like we should have used ults on that point there, on that first point, if you would have used ults, that would have bought enough time for me to be able to use cryo freeze, which would have bought even more time for our DPS and our tanks and all them to come back, which now is stalling out the point even more, and they have their ults online. So if you do that, we extend the fight even longer. You didn't use the Lucio beat until around 4 minutes. So with that being said, you're on defense. We need to keep the fight going in our favor. We already have multiple things there. We can solve the point a little bit longer by using these things. So I used the May out there. I was assuming you was going to use the beat to keep the fight going in our favor, but you don't, and we lose that point. So that is why I was saying we need to invest ultimates there to keep the fight going. So that is.
Like you were gonna delete it. It was only like 1k HP, but it's got deleted, right?
No, I still have cryo freeze, and I still have my. I would have had wall. I also put May out down to freeze everybody on the point.
Yeah, but if they got people, I would have ulted, but it didn't get one.
It doesn't have to get. It doesn't have to get anybody. It just needs to zone them out to where they don't get on the cart. The main goal on defense is literally to waste as much time as possible. Okay. And there's nothing else that you need it. Like even if you beat it there, you would have had another one by the time you use beat again, because you didn't use it for so long. That was a perfect opportunity for you to use it, and we didn't. So now you have to wait for another opportunity like that, which can last 2 or 3 fights. And this is the same thing that I was talking. Somebody asked this question earlier on what I see the biggest problem from Diamond to Masters is that exact issue. Saving ultimates for a quote-unquote perfect opportunity. So trying to save all 6 people or something don't try to do that. Literally keep the fight going if it's winnable and go from there. We have the male, they're not getting on the point. If they get on the point, they're going to be frozen. And then we also had the beat to keep the people alive. So either me and other person that's coming back, either way, they're coming back from spawn anyways. That's going to stall it out even longer. And if anything, even if you do use the beat and they use something else, now you're trading the ultimates. So at least you get their ultimates out as well. So then we don't have to worry about that next fight, even though it may be a losing fight. So that's something that you got to keep in mind too. Hello, Bagel. How you doing?
What's up, dude?
Hey, so we're working on our positioning. We're gonna be playing for around 27 minutes, 30 minutes left. Are you going to be good, or are you going to be good to play for about like an hour and a half here? Or not an hour and a half, half an hour?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Like I said, we're working on positioning, so we're sticking to a same team comp. Pretty much every match, and I'm explaining like why I'm saying where I'm going and my thought process on these types of things here. So the team comp that we're playing, you're playing tanks, so you're either playing Ryan or Zarya, and then everybody else already knows their roles and stuff like that. But I'm coordinating where we're going and everything to that effect. What I need you to do is make sure you're listening to where I'm holding up and posting everybody. And if you have any questions on why I'm saying hold in these areas or do anything like that, it is going to be you and the other tank's job later on to kind of position us and stuff like that. All right. So does anybody have any questions over that thing or? Yes, go ahead.
So we held in the cave for what, 2 fights?
2 or 3, I think.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Why didn't we hold the corner knowing they had a Junkrat? Because could have just isn't like you said, spam is a counter to brawl. We're playing more brawl, and that Junkrat he didn't like just spam to he didn't spam to the cave and destroy my shield, but he easily could have.
Okay, so if we hold
that, should we have held the corner?
He's still going to do the same thing, but we'll be less effective. And the payload will be able to move more.
But he would be less effective, or we would?
We would be. Because our main goal on defense is this. Okay, our main goal on defense is to stop the payload, like waste as much time as possible, right? Being in the
I'm
cave.
talking about when the payload was like behind us and we were in the cave.
When the payload was
I think it
behind
the
us.
Third fight. It was like the first fight the payload was in front of us like by their spawn.
But
third fight the payload was behind us.
oh, by toward the end of by the gas station and stuff. Why? Yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're still going to have to walk through there. So that's going to give us more advantage to be grouped up and then maybe get a wall off that way. That's why we're going to hold there. We can easily just wall off half their team from there and be able to fight. And there's also a mega health pack there. So a lot of times when you're taking fights and stuff like that, you want to be fighting in an area where they can't do damage to you, but you can do damage to them. And with our team comp, like I said, when we're waiting to do something, we're not going to be poking, right? So the only person who's going to be shooting is maybe the shield, and we can always give that space. And just pull back a little bit so the grades ain't doing anything. As soon as they get close to that cave entrance, we amp in, we use all our cooldowns, they get deleted. If we're holding at that corner there, everybody can free fire into that shield and into us before we can even do anything. If we're playing in the cave, they can't really do anything. Unless they're standing in front of the cave, shooting in that area, which in that case, if they're there, we're just going to amp into them. You could also hold around the corner as well, but the cave gives you that mega health pack. So that's why you'd want to hold there.
The way I asked that, like, if I was drunk there, I would have sat, on the train, fired into the wall of the cave and have it, bounce. So I would have no.
I mean, it's not going to do anything, though. We're not gonna be fighting in the cave. We're gonna be pushing out of the cave. So that damage, yeah, okay, he'll get a couple grenades off, but it doesn't. Yeah, but that's what we have. Zarya bubbles. That's what we have. The amp heal is if we need it, and we're not going to be sitting there. So ideally, he'll just do a little bit of shield damage, but that's it. So.
Yeah. So we're gonna do like one more of you telling us, and then we're gonna do.
Yeah, with the time it looks like probably because we got 23 minutes, so. Maybe one more with me, or maybe two, depending.
And then one of the
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have time to do one of where you guys will be coordinating stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I wanted to.
Yeah, we should have enough time for at least one.
And then the tank, Bagel, he plays Zarya. Yeah. Okay, because I prefer Ryan, but if you also prefer Ryan, we can switch every other.
Sorry.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for the follow. So the Mastered 3 follow. Thank you for the follow there. Pink-eyed, thank you for that follow. And Mr. Coco, thank you all for the follows that have happened.
What a good map to end on. Select your hero.
Yeah, that's a decent format.
Oh, I love it.
So we're going to see where they're holding. Since we're on attack, we have to figure out where they're holding at first to figure out our best pathway to where we need to hold. I'm guessing they're going to be holding on the objective. So if they are holding on the objective, then we can just go around the right side or we can go straight into them, depending on how far away they are from the choke. And also depending on what their team comp is.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Zarya, I don't understand how you can fight in the cold wearing so little. I'll tell you my secret.
So, but before your thing, you're talking like I should never charge.
Yeah.
Essentially, but like,
unless you're counter charging, like to stop their charge.
Yeah.
Like if you're stunning them, then yeah, go ahead.
Wall, like if there's a team right here.
Generally speaking, you don't want to charge. Yes, there's going to be instances where you can, but most of the time you're not going to want to. So, alright, waiting on that. So it looks like they're really close. So as soon as we get close, we're going to amp in. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go. Okay, now let's push forward. Watch the Widow high ground. Just play on the point. Just play on the point. Zone out the Widow. Keep eyes on where she's at. Play to where she can't really do any damage. Yep, there you go.
My ultimate is
Play right against that area. Just hold the point. Hold the point. Don't try to push. Don't try to do anything extra. Okay. Now all 5 of you guys push for it. You guys should. You guys fight off the payload.
Who stays on cart?
I'll hold the cart this time. So you guys have cooldowns. Are they there? 3, 2, 1, go! Push! 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 Push!
Right behind.
I shouldn't like. Is that a bad charge?
I don't know. I'm not really. I'm on payload. Watch the Widow high ground. But this is still kind of winnable. We can play slow here. Just kite back. Like, see, we lost that fight and we were still moving the payload. That's why you take fights off of the payload. We moved it another 5 meters.
So Ryan charged behind, and he missed.
No, you don't need to charge behind. Watch the junk high ground. Okay, we're probably gonna lose this. They use 2 ults. This is over. Just pull back if we can. They're using 3 ults. Just pull back into spawn. Alright. Alright. Alright, let's go. Now you guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go. Push, 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 push. We didn't really need the defensive ult there from Lucio since we already had the rally going. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Go, push, 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 speed, speed, push, push, push. You do not keep. There you go. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Stick with your Reinhardt. Stick with your Reinhardt.
There's an Ashe behind us.
Ashe is dead.
She died.
Yeah, she died.
If Ashe is behind, call it out so people can zone it out. But everybody should be sticking with our Reinhardt. And if our Ryan knows that somebody's behind, our Ryan shouldn't be pushing up anymore if we need to turn around.
Ashe is in farm. Right, my shield's going down.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, engage. Go, 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 go. The Ryan charge out of position, so that's over. That's fine. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Let them use their ults. They used 2 ults. We didn't use anything. It's 6 minutes 40 seconds on the clock. Doesn't matter. Alright, so Lucio, please stop amping. Wait till we're ready to push in. Because we could have easily killed this whole team if we would have had it. But now we have to wait. So how long until your cooldown? Let's go get him.
See, that's the right charge.
Okay, now push, 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 push. Amp is in, amp is in. There you go. Just behind. Play slow. Watch the junk behind.
Still behind.
Yeah, he is. We're still moving payload.
If I can, I'll get him on the way back.
He's high ground. Play slow, pull back some. Keep with the run, keep with the run. Alright, let's push, let's keep pushing, push, 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 push. Whenever you want. I'm not gonna tell you when to use ults. We're not working on ults. Good beat, let's keep fighting, keep going, we can win this, keep pushing. Push, push, there you go, good and, good and. Mercy is one. Keep putting pressure. So you see how easy that was? So
yeah, that was kind of that was comedic how easy that was actually.
So when you're down 1, when you're doing a 5v6, ideally you should try to use an ultimate almost every fight. Maybe even 2 if you need to. But if not, then you don't need to. They're investing 2, 3 ultimates into a fight, even though we have ultimates. If they're gonna invest 2 back to back like that, let them. Okay, have fun. Get literally no value from 2 ultimates because you could have won that with 1. So keep that in mind when it comes to like when you need to disengage and stuff like that. Like a really good example on that was like after we capped and they used Shatter, they used Nano, and they didn't really kill anybody. So all we had to do is just kind of kite back with our speed, and they can't really touch us because we have our speed pulling us out and everything like that. And then they used the Mercy ult. Okay, let's just wait and spawn. We're not going to do anything right now. We don't need to engage. We're literally just going to let them take their time, do what they need to do, zone us out, fine. Then we get ready to push back in. Then we push back in, we use our ults, and that's what happens almost every single fight. They may win a fight every 2 or 3 minutes because of ultimates, but all we're doing is literally backing up and letting them do what they're going to do, and then we push in and punish them for it. Their Reinhardt was overextending a lot of times, so if their Reinhardt's going to overextend, let him overextend. And for a Reinhardt that was asking questions, and I don't know if this was the question that he was asking if you should charge him back or something, don't charge him away. If you're going to charge, I wouldn't even charge. Literally just keep shielding the team. The 5 people can kill the 1 Reinhardt. What you have to do is shield his healing from coming in. That's what you should be doing. And stopping the heals, or if they beat, or they try to nano or something, do not let that come through. Because if they beat and your shield is in front of him, he doesn't get that beat. He doesn't get trance. He doesn't get anything if the shield is in front of him. So keep that in mind when it comes to what you're doing and where you're going and stuff like that. Especially if he charges like how he was, punish him. That is your engagement. Same thing if Roadhog hooks somebody. If Roadhog hooks somebody, we're going. That's it. Let's go. Like, simple as that. They made that engage for us because we need to make sure we're protecting our team and we push in hard with it. Every time, like when our Lucio amps, we are literally waiting on Lucio amp to come in every single time before we engage. If we don't have that, then we really can't hard engage. We can kind of soft engage and play a little slow, but we can't really do anything. We don't want to take any damage because we can't close that distance in time. It is very key and crucial that we have to close distance without taking damage. And if we're just kind of casually walking for it, we're just going to casually take damage and get melted down, and our Brig's not going to get any value. Also, with the Junkrat being behind, okay, that's great. Call him out. We can zone him out. How effective was he from behind that whole time on 3rd point?
He won him the game.
Yeah, yeah. There was nothing. He didn't do anything. We just zoned him out. Let him do what he's going to do. Fine. We know he's back there. We do not need to invest resources into that. Well, since he's so far away and he's just getting away, fine. Whatever. Well, let's push as a 6-man to those other 5 people because their Junkrat's not doing anything and he's not being effective. So we're just going to push that out. I'm identifying if he's a valuable character or anything like that in the match to him. If he's getting a lot of value and he's just getting flanks and stuff like that, yeah, okay, then we're going to play a little slower. We're going to focus him down, punish him, and then we push in. But if not, he hasn't been doing anything, so I'm not worried about it. Same thing goes with the Ashe. The Ashe wasn't really doing anything, so I'm not really going to be worried about it too much. All we need to do is zone it out. Now their Widowmaker, yeah, okay, their Widowmaker was hitting some shots. Seems like you do not want to mess with a Widowmaker just because if she hits that headshot, it's an insta-kill. So that's why I'm saying, all right, we need to play slow, zone out this Widowmaker. We don't need to try to compress or pressure her out or anything like that. Just let her have her space. We can't do anything about it. Now, obviously, in this specific lobby and stuff like that, we're playing this team comp, so we're not going to swap anything. Now, if we're just playing how to counter comps and stuff like that, there's a whole thing on, are they playing a spam hero? Are they playing a dive hero? Are they playing a brawl hero? And then how do you counter these things and who counters and stuff like that? We can go into more detail on that in another lobby or something like that. But in this case, we're worried about positioning. So all we're worried about is positioning, engages, and disengages. That is the main goal of this of the positioning training. So kind of keep that in mind. All right, so now gets to be the fun part. And we got 10 minutes left, or 11 minutes and 10 seconds, which is around enough time for you guys to play one match.
We can get 2 games in that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. So what this is, are tanks, and primarily Yeti, since you're the only one that's been here. Bagel, you can do this as well and help with this. Just because you are playing a tank. But since you've only been here for kind of one game, I'm not going to put it on your shoulders to kind of do that yet. But what we're going to do is you're going to tell us where we need to hold up and where we're where we're I guess, defending from or attacking from or pathing. That's kind of what your job is going to be. So you need to be vocal with that. And then our support line, which is RD3 and Emmy, both of you will be telling us when we need to engage and when we need to disengage. So when we're engaging, all you need to call is like, all right, ready, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Or engage or push or whatever you're going to be doing. Say something to that effect. And make sure you're saying it loud enough to where we can hear, because there's going to be shit going on. Just like the tone of my voice when I'm saying stuff, make sure you're trying to bring that same energy so we can all hear it over everything else that's going on. Same thing goes when we're resetting. You will be calling that as well. If we need to reset, then you need to tell us to reset. As supports, you already know if we can win this fight with ultimates or not. So if you have an ult online, you can tell us keep engaging and use your ult. Like, hey, keep engaging. I have beat. I'm going to beat if we get low. All right, cool. Let's hard engage here. Fine. Ryan gets low. Oh, we're going to beat. So keep that in mind when it comes to engaging and stuff like that.
I have a question on when we engage. On not when, but like how I should, as Ryan, how much shield should I be using? Like you need
to alternate your shield between your health.
Jump shield.
I mean, you can do that if you want. I mean,
that's what I'm like. What's the? I mean, it's probably like engagement specific, but
I mean, in general, like you want to use your shield as another health pool, and you always want to have your shield. So normally, what I'll do when I'm like taking space and stuff, I won't really hold my shield unless I'm getting low on health, or if I see a lot of burst damage coming through, especially in low ranks. They're not going to do enough damage to you, so take advantage of that. Have your full HP shield when you're ready there and needing to block that damage that's going to be coming in, and when you're getting close and stuff. So use your shield a little bit, see what they're running, see where they're positioned. All right, let me drop my shield, walk forward. By the time I walk forward, I lose a little bit of my armor. Once I lose my armor, my shield's going to have full charge back. Put the shield back up, let me get healed up, play a little slow, push back in, and kind of easily rotate that back and forth. All right, I got time for one last question. Okay, so my brother is... oh, fuck, I forgot. Garatina? Is that how it is?
Yeah.
Okay, look at me. I'm learning. Is in my lobby, told him to join. How bad is he? I'm not really seeing anything necessarily bad. There's a couple out of position things, but other than that, I'm not seeing anything terrible. I'm not seeing anything terrible. So not bad enough for me to say anything. So if I don't say anything during the match, you're probably not doing anything too terrible. If I'm saying something during the match, I'm seeing stuff happen consistently, and you need to stop that shit. Like, it is me saying, out of the 5 people I'm watching, I'm seeing you fuck up a lot, so please stop fucking up. This is what I'm telling you, and this is why if I'm saying, like Lucio Amp, stop amping. Ryan, stop charging. These are things that you're doing consistently that you need to stop that shit, because it's throwing game. So, just kind of keep that in mind. Alright, so let's go into our last and final match.
So what was saying? I mean, the question was when was I kind of phrased it wrong, but when Lucio was speed boosting it and we're going into like when instead of not just like saying a joke, but like when you said okay 3, 2, 1 go, and Lucio speed boosts, that's when I was like, how much shield should I be using then? Not just like.
I mean, it just depends how much damage they have coming out. And on that first thing, you don't, I mean, we walled them off, so you don't really need to. You can walk and swing. They're not going to kill you. So, I mean, if you got full HP, you're fine. You're not going to die.
Yeah, he brought up a minute ago, the amp is made for closing space, so your goal is to close the space without taking damage, right?
Yeah.
So
a lot of the shielding, at least in my experience, occurs during transitions.
Yeah, you can.
On edge, you take space, and then once you're taking space, you need to take less shield on your healers.
Yeah, we're not going to play that.
Thank you.
It's a much harder map to try to. But yeah, it goes both ways. So when you are taking space, because the problem is with that mindset is that Ryan moves slower with shield. So if you're not taking damage, you do not need to have that shield when you are pushing for it and you're trying to amp and close that space. If you are taking damage, then yes, you do need to, and you need to go back and forth on that because you still need to be the front line, but you also don't want to kill yourself. So you have to kind of vary it back and forth. But
I
it's
kind of feel like the don't hold your shield when you're not getting shot at. I feel like that's a little implied, right?
no, not in lower ranks.
Also, I have another question.
Save all questions for the end. Let's try hard. This is another try hard. I want you guys playing how we've been playing. I want you guys doing all this type of stuff. Like how I've been teaching you guys. Hopefully there's a little bit more improvement when it comes to your engages and stuff and positioning.
How we're defending.
Mm-hmm.
Our world is worth fighting for. You hear that?
So let's hold top right.
Okay. Can I get up here with all? Yes, I can. Did not know I could do that.
What?
I didn't know I could get up here with a wall.
Oh, you can get lots of things with this name, man.
I think it's too high.
No, I got up there. I beat you guys up here.
Stay up there for Ryan. I'll check with you.
They're coming up right.
They have a window left.
Are we gonna call anything, or are we just gonna sit here with our thumbs in our
Oh
ass?
wait.
That's our supports. Are we gonna engage? Or are we gonna sit? What are we doing?
Well, I can't really engage over there. We don't really have anyone to engage here.
Run main.
Underneath.
Someone on point.
What are we doing?
Are we engaging? What are we doing?
Pushing him off.
Okay, supports, you have to call this engage if we're gonna start pushing on somebody. Is it?
I never played that menu. I just
Can we
like,
speed this? Can we speed
play
this?
with Josh all line. How to play. Widow 1. Widow down. Maybe we should reset the high ground.
Let's go top right. Right. Yeah. So
Okay. Our supports need to call when we need to engage if we're gonna push forward. That is what our supports need to be calling. Everything else is just gonna be on everybody else.
Monkey far
Right
right.
side, right side, 3 right.
thanks.
We gonna call anything? What are we doing?
Widow's main. Nice job.
Hello?
That's. Can we
The supports are in
do
back.
this?
We can get on the supports.
Right. Supports. Yep.
So what? Okay. So top right again.
Finally, 2 minutes in, we finally call one engagement.
I'm gonna do it. Under us.
It's better than nothing, but it's still.
I can hear monkey somewhere.
High
Yeah,
ground.
if they're under us.
I think we're going low ground.
If everybody stops moving, you can usually hear a little better.
Good point.
Their main.
Yep.
Alright. Call whenever.
Let's see the outside.
I hope so.
Now let's see.
That was a little sad.
Going.
I thought we were
Come on, dude.
Reapers.
Increase.
Somebody's above. Monkey above.
We can stagger baby.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, I
Watch this.
heard stagger and then
Alright.
right.
That's alright.
Hey, are we holding up here again?
Then Echo.
Switch to Ryan Zarya.
Are we holding up here?
Echo to the right side.
Lucio, do you have speed boost?
McCree's bottom left by Echo.
Yeah, we can push McCree.
Okay. Call.
Well, I don't know where he's at.
Ready?
Yeah, you speed us up
3, 2,
early, but
1, go, go! Disengage.
Really good engager.
Good point, Ryan.
I'd like to raise by yourself over here. Sorry, Lucio. I'll be the sorry, I'm point.
Here, Echo.
Echo gets cooldowns really fast.
Yeah.
30 seconds remaining.
Come on, everyone.
Right.
Just a
Someone's
little
mid.
bit longer.
Echo's mid. With they're all mid.
I'm gonna stun him.
10 seconds.
Are we still engaging this? Do we still engage here or no?
Adaptive circuits engaged. McCree.
Did we save our Lucio speed?
We're going. We can read
You guys ready? Let's go.
Yeah, go.
Really good call here. We should definitely try going there.
I'm gonna die. I have to.
Go,
You don't have.
Touching, I'm
Go,
touching.
go.
We're going. I'm on.
Rally?
Really good call. Really good call here. Because we can win this.
There's a McCree.
Yeah.
Just
Are we still fighting this?
There's no deal. No.
Oh, sorry, I tried to save it.
Objective lost. Stop the pain.
Do you have a wall?
No, I don't. I can body block. Oh, I almost had you.
Let's hold high. Still high ground. On high ground.
Need a full reset.
We get there.
Yeah, your May and McCree's coming back now. It's gonna be a minute.
Ryan and
I
Lucio,
think
you guys.
Echo's up here.
Ryan, you're kind of by yourself.
I got you,
Yes.
fam.
Thank you, baby.
Alright.
Okay.
We're here.
Yeah.
Echo's up
Good
here.
start.
I'm still up.
No, yeah, let's go. Go, go, go.
不许走，
I've got you.
起来吧！
Jump in, jump in.
That's close.
Ryan.
Echo.
Go, keep going.
Absolutely.
Alright.
Hold back to us. Actually, no. Hold corner. Wait.
Yeah, we can hide in here.
Where are we holding?
Bus.
We're
Sorry,
holding
bus. That's too close. That's too close
Let's
to
follow
spawn.
Ryan, follow Ryan.
Too close to spawn.
Hold in this corner here.
Bad hold on second point here.
I'm gonna have to send 3, 2, 1, go.
Right, let's go.
Alright. Jumping right in. Go right.
We still fighting this?
Come on, Ryan.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Really easy.
Stay with Ryan, stay with Ryan.
I have to get back in the fight.
Ryan.
60 seconds.
I heard Lucio does not stay with this team.
有本事就过来。
Alright, more on point.
Brian, help Brian. Tapping us in.
Lucio.
I have payload if you guys want to put. I have payload.
Okay.
Moore's back left. Moore's left side. Moore's left side by Mega.
He need a burger, we can kill him.
No, we're gonna pull.
We got bubble.
I have point, so don't worry.
We're good. We can come back.
Come at the same corner.
30 seconds.
Yep. Bus.
Oh, hey, more.
Yeah, I got her. No raise.
Nice. I was waiting for Lucio's beat and we could engage it. I want to hold on.
If you take some photo, go like first.
You're going high. McCree's going high ground.
How much time you got left?
In main, in middle.
You can push
Yeah,
this through.
going above.
Yeah, came in.
Beating.
GG.
Okay, so it got a lot better toward the end. Y'all's first 2 minutes was shit. No engagements were called except for like one. I want to see this. Our positioning on where we went was pretty good. So I want to ask one thing on like, yeah, no, I know you're fine. I want to ask one thing. Why? Because there was some positioning mistakes through that match, and I want to ask one thing on well, for Yeti, since you're kind of really calling a lot of this stuff. Why do we keep holding the high ground in the top right? Let's see if he gets this right.
Because they can either come from behind us or from above. But if they go main, we can drop down onto them, or we have the high ground. I can shield, and our entire team will be protected.
Okay, good. Yes.
Like the Widow on the first point on King's Row. Like I was shielding, and she could shoot our entire team except for like maybe the Zarya.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was wanting to hear, is that you're taking space so that they can't get space for free. That's exactly what you want to be doing. If you can take the high ground for free, take the high ground for free 99.9% of the time. Because it's going to give you an advantage almost every single time. So really good job there on making that decision, knowing that they can have high ground, but whatever. Never give high ground away for free. No matter if they're going main every time, no matter if they're going bottom right, bottom left, under the ground, through the map, it doesn't matter. You always take the high ground if you have it for free. If possible. Now, on second point, why did we take the bus?
I like the bus because if we held the corner, that's one really close to spawn, and two, there are two doors, one behind us that can go far left and just destroy our backline. From the two doors to the to the right of us.
How would they go behind us if we're holding the corner?
Because they could have gone like the door on first point, like where they capture point, and go through there, and then.
How would they go there without us seeing?
Yeah,
Because we're not at the first choke point, so we don't see them coming out of spawn. If they come directly out of spawn to the first point through that door to the back hallway, they can come around to the back side of that statue. And we wouldn't know it until they drop down to that. They drop down.
It's a really far walk. It's mostly.
What, your legs are tired or something?
Most of the reason I wanted to call it bus was the respawn advantage. It isn't insane, but I don't like holding that close to spawn because
why?
I had a long history of getting.
How long can you push? How long can you push up into? How long can you? Okay, let me ask anybody. Let me ask this question. How many seconds? And type it in group chat real quick. How many seconds can you push? Once somebody's dead before, into their spawn before you can't push anymore. Just type. How many seconds can you push into a spawn until you can't push anymore? Like until they're be back. How many seconds can you push ideally?
Oh, my answer.
Like how long are they dead, or how long?
How long can you push forward after somebody dies into their spawn before you can't push forward anymore? That's what I want to know. Okay, so so Yeti's correct. It's not the best answer, but it is correct. You can push. Ideally, you want to push 4 seconds after somebody dies. Up. If you're walking into their spawn door, you want to push at least 4 seconds because they're going to be guaranteed dead for 6. You definitely don't want to push 20 because they're going to be they could die twice.
Like from the start of the fight, like
no. As soon as they're dead, you can push 6 seconds. You can push 4 seconds. If you're shooting their spawn door, you can push 6 seconds because it is still a 5v6. At that 6 second, it is now a 6v6, and you need to get out. which is why I would say roughly around 4 seconds. You can push 4 seconds because that still gives you 2 seconds to pull back and reset and stuff like that before they come back in. So that is how long you need to push. Yes.
This also added to my reason for the bus. No offense to everyone who said like the line numbers, but I've like you push spawn, never just hits spawn, and then keeps fighting. And
you said what? Repeat that again. Sorry.
People like everyone said the fighting for like 20 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
People just fight too long and then feed and die.
Okay, so let me bring up the scenario that I brought at the very first thing when I said you guys' positioning suck. When we're defending, why we're holding pretty much on the car. Why are we defending on the car? Because as soon as we lose, what are they doing?
Gonna push it.
Exactly. If we hold that choke up there and we lose, what's going on?
They have to get to it first.
Yeah, and it's still moving backwards. So no matter what, even if we get rolled there, they're not moving the cart. If we get rolled on cart, they're moving the cart. At least in one scenario, we can at least amp back and pull back and maybe try to zone some stuff out, waste more abilities, waste more ultimates, stuff like that. You have a chance. If you're holding that far back, you're giving them all that space. They can go left, they can go right. As somebody else is saying, they can go right. We won't even know until they drop down on us. They don't know until we're at that angle. We don't know anything on what they're doing because we're holding so far back on the objective, which is what we don't need to do. And on first point, we wasn't holding on the objective. We was holding on the high ground. We let them get to a space or whatever, then we drop down on them. Fine. And then other things on. Then on second point, we just kind of let them take space on us for free. So those are two things. Like one was really good and one was really bad. You never hold the objective when you're on defense. Now, if the payload's kind of close, yeah, you can maybe play a little further back or just send one person back. Like I said on May, I'm holding the point, and that's why I kind of figured you was doing is kind of holding the point so we don't get back capped. But even then,
the point that like where the point was where the like payload was relevant and where I chose to hold.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You didn't mention anything like that, so it definitely wasn't a reason there. But yeah, that is something that you can't do. You can't hold the objective. There's no reason to hold the objective. You need to fight. Anytime you're defending, you fight off the objective. Anytime you're attacking, you want to fight on the objective because, I mean, anytime you're attacking an objective, you want to fight on the objective because that's going to give you the most advantage because, one, it's going to put them out of position. Two, you're already capping if possible and it saves time. So, if possible, yes, there's going to be gray areas and everything that I'm saying and stuff like that, but just that's something that you want to keep in consideration. Now, next thing, our engagements. Let's talk about our engagements. Like I said, the first part, our engagements were a little rusty and kind of shitty and stuff like that, which is fine. Somebody's mic was messed up and stuff, but our Lucio wasn't really calling our engagements a lot of times, so that was something that needed to happen. Later on, they did start getting better. Now, I did hear something. Why did we call to go and fight on first point when we was after they already team wiped us and they was starting to cap? Why did we call that? Whoever did call that, why did we call that?
Because we had boost and there was only one person on point.
Okay, that was who called it? Was that you who called it?
I think it was me.
Okay, so why did you call it?
I think it was you who was last alive and
yes.
calling point, and I was like, we could give him 2 ticks, and that should give us enough time to go in.
Okay.
And possibly retake the point.
Okay.
If we use our Lucio speed boost, we could re-engage before they take it forward.
Okay. Does everybody agree or disagree or have any?
I disagree.
Okay. Why?
Because I was still coming back for spawn and you were behind me too, and I was out of the amp range, so it was like a 6v4, and saying they lose, they end up back at spawn again, and we would have to go back to them.
Okay. Anybody else disagree there?
Yeah. Well, I just have point why I like re-engaging. A lot of players in gold, once they team wipe someone and they're on point, they stand there and they don't expect to, like, there's multiple times where I've done the same thing and the team just doesn't,
They don't expect to re-engage. So you agree?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to know if anybody else disagrees. If anybody else, yeah. Does anybody else disagree? Everybody kind of feel the same way? Other than Garatina.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so RD3 is right. That is exactly what you want to do. Give them a couple ticks and go back in on the third. That's exactly what should have happened, because we would have won that if it was played out a little better. Our Lucio went to touch a little early. You don't need to touch it early. Touch it like 98%, 99%. Like, you want to touch it the last possible second, if as possible. So don't.
When you want to touch like 90, like, because a lot of CC can stop you.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I in a perfect scenario, yes, you can touch at 99.9%. And I just in a normal world, you probably want to try to touch at like 97%, 90 something percent. But you want to get it as close as possible so you can get as much time as possible before you push in.
Can I say something?
So yes, go ahead.
So I think what I was explaining actually happened. Like, they got killed up there, and me and you were heading back, and that's when I called for the wall, but you didn't have it. I got killed.
Are you talking about on second point?
No, after they took the first point.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
during Streets phase when you was low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I could body block, and I went to ice in front of you, but they're too far forward. That's.
I just didn't want us to get back even farther. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. They're chasing us down. We're not really gonna survive that at that point. So, but that first point when we went to engage, yes, that's exactly what we need to do. The only problem was, like I said, our Lucio went to touch a little earlier. So Lucio, if you're gonna if you're going to be the one to touch it like the last couple seconds, so that you can at least go in, and so that everybody else can kind of get in. Yeah. So keep that in mind. We had ultimates. We definitely should have been able to win that. It was just, like I said, bad timing and stuff like that. So time it a little later. But other than that, that was a really good call. I was very impressed with that call there, because that is what you need to be doing. Giving them a couple ticks and then pushing back in. It doesn't make a difference if they get 66% or 98%. They didn't cap the point. It still goes back down to 66% every single time. So keep that in mind. I don't know why people's like, don't give them a tick. Give them fucking 2 ticks. We need to get spawns back. Like, don't try to rush things. Go back in when you have the at least as big as advantage as possible to make it as fair as possible in that next fight. All right. Most of our engagements that we called were pretty good when we did call them. There was a couple things I did want to mention when it comes to engages and stuff. When it came to keep engaging, we get 2 or 3 kills or something like that, and we don't kill the other 4 people. That is a very big issue in lower ranks, where you don't kill the last couple people. That means they stay alive longer, they get more ults, their supports get more ults because they get out with low HP, and now you don't build as much ults. If you push them and kill them every single time, then we build way more ults. Same way with, like on that King's Row map, when we push forward, and I keep telling you to push. I'm watching kill feed, we're showing up in the kill feed, we're pushing up until their spawn. There's no reason why we need to hold back and play slow. If we have an advantage,
isn't really a concept of low plat.
Huh?
Clean up, like,
Well,
we won the fight for the rest of the team.
I get that most people may not know that, but that's why I'm telling you, so that you can let your other team know. So that if you're playing tank, you can tell them, hey, push for it so we can get these other kills. It is your job to tell the other people what they're doing, especially if you're playing main tank. You're the one leading the fight anyways. If you see that people are not listening and stuff like that, then fine, you can't do anything about that. You need to play how they're playing. You got to go with the crowd, because it's going to be better for you to fall in line with the other 6 people, the other 5 people on your team, than it is to try to do your own thing, even though it may be a better decision, right? Because any plan is better than no plan, or working as 6 is going to be better than working as a 5 over here and 1 over here doing their own thing. Always work with the team and stick whatever their plan is. Just go with whatever the fuck they're wanting to do. Okay? Rather than trying to make a better play and stuff like that. All right. So yeah, and that's fine, and that's good to call a disengage, but it's better to just call stack on Rhine. or something like that. Because now you're not saying we need to disengage and stopping our momentum. You're just saying we need to divert our focus on where we're walking to this person, so that we all go in that. So that's a easier call or better call there, is just to say, oh, stack on Orion or stack on our Zarya or something like that, so that everybody knows to go there. I think I tried to engage with Deadeye to give us a head start, but I don't know if that was good. If we're going to use an ultimate, like if you're talking about that re-engage there on that first point, yeah, that's fine. Or rally, either one. We had multiple ults online, and that's why I said it was a good thing there. Go in and try to re-engage since they team wiped us and I stalled enough. Yeah, it was good play. Nothing wrong there.
First point, I went for the Nano Blade Genji and I shot him. And the second point, I just went to give us a 2% head start.
Oh, you're talking about those ults. I thought you were talking about on the re-engage. Oh yeah, that first point, that was stupid. You was way out of position. You should have died. There's no reason why you should be away from your team as McCree. Like, I don't know how many games I've played in lower SR where they're like, oh yeah, McCree, take the high ground, try to get a high noon. Why the fuck am I going to be out of the fight for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, get the high ground, be completely exposed, have no movement abilities, and I'm glowing?
The play of the game, dude.
Yeah, like, you're going to die. Anybody who's confident is literally just going to shut you down, and you will get no value, and your front line's just going to suffer because you decide to try to get some crazy play. No, don't ever do that. Yeah. No problem. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Does anybody else have any last questions or anything like that? No? Okay, well, like I said, thanks for everybody for coming out. If you guys want to follow along, you can follow along at Mpulse_W. If you want to join these lobbies, I do these lobbies pretty much every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.